Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about the all-new 2022 Kia EV6. This is an all-new EV model for the Kia lineup, an absolutely awesome vehicle that is going to take them into a new segment and a new kind of business plan for them in the EV universe, or whatever you want to call it there. Making EVs, that's more important than anything else. But what I did was I did a lot of research. I'm going to break these videos up into different parts here. So today we're going to talk about the engine, which includes like the engine specs, the range, the miles miles till miles of range there, the horsepower, the torque numbers, you name it. We got all the powertrain specs here on the vehicle. But before we go over that, I need you to do me one thing real quick, and I need you to subscribe to my channel. This video I'm making, doing a lot of work in it, and I'm only making it for subscribers. So I'm gonna give you a second to go ahead and subscribe. So click that little red button down there. It says subscribe, and then we'll get started in just a second. Okay, awkward silence done. All right, let's get started with the video. 2022 Kia EV, there's going to be 4 different trim levels, and I'll put a little graphic up here right now. So there's going to be the first trim level, which is going to be called the light trim level. It's going to be like the base trim. Then there's going to be what's called the wind trim level, which is going to be more like the middle trim level. And then there's going to be the top-end GT line. And then for the first few that are being made, there is a first edition EV6 there that we'll go over. But there is 4 different trim levels: light, wind, GT line, and the first edition there. So let's start with the light trim level, the first trim level here, the most entry-level trim level on the EV6. So the light's going to come in only one drive line, and that's going to be rear-wheel drive. No all-wheel drive is going to be offered on this model, and you're going to see why here in just a second. Horsepower numbers here on the light is going to be 167 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Still plenty of power, still enough torque to get you around places, and it's going to be very, very fuel efficient, or I guess energy efficient, not fuel anymore. This is going to have a 58 kilowatt hour battery pack there, a little bit smaller than the top end, which you'll see here in just a second, but still plenty of range, 232 miles of range there. When you plug this in, you're going to be able to get around a lot of places there. Max speed here on the light trim level is going to be 115 miles per hour, and then your 0 to 60 time is going to be right around 8 seconds. Braking distance here, and actually on every EV6, is 147.6 feet. It's braking from 60 down to 0. And then here's the charging times here on the EV6 Lite. With a 240 volt level 2 charger, which is actually going to come with the vehicle, you're going to have 5 hours and 50 minutes to fully charge up that vehicle. So if you come home and you plug it in at nighttime, you're going to be fully charged by the morning. And then if you go with one of the fast charging DC fast chargers that you can find at a lot of points, there's a lot of fast charge points out there. There's even apps like ChargePoint that you can log into, and it will tell you where certain DC fast chargers are located in your area. But on a 400 volt DC fast charger, you can get 210 or around 210 miles of range in about 63 minutes. So just over an hour. And then on an 800 volt DC fast charger, you're going to get about the same, around 210 miles of range, but it's going to be in only 18 minutes. 210 miles of range there, around 210 miles of range there in only 18 minutes. That is absolutely insane here. And like I said, this is the entry-level EV6 there. Let's move on to that wind edition. But before I do that, I'm going to show you some of the images that you'll be seeing here on the back with this EV6. So let's take a look at this vehicle. Absolutely stunning vehicle, I would say, correct? Nice, very, very nice vehicle. So let's move on to the next two trim levels here. That's the Wind trim level, and then that's also the GT Line trim level. I got my MacBook here so I can go through some specs as well there. Make sure I'm getting everything 100% correct here. So on this Wind trim level, which is going to be more of like the middle trim level here on the EV6, you're going to have two options for drive lines. You're going to have rear-wheel drive, or you're going to have a dual-motor all-wheel drive system there. So it's going to have two different motors, one on the front, one on the back there, two electric motors, and they're going to be turning those separate axles there, one on the back, one on the front there. This is a rear-wheel drive vehicle by nature, but with the dual motor on the front there, it's going to be having power going to that axle on the front there to give you all-wheel drive capability. And that is an option. You still can get it in just rear-wheel drive. If you do get the rear-wheel drive Wind trim level, you're going to have 225 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. If you go an option up for that all-wheel drive trim level, you're going to have 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. And the reason that is happening is because, like I said, you're having a second motor being put on the vehicle there, so it's going to add power, it's going to add horsepower and torque there for the vehicle. The battery capacity here on the Wind and on the GT line, you're looking at 700, or not 700, that would be a lot of battery capacity, 77.4 kilowatt hours of battery capacity. Range on this one is a lot more. It's a good chunk more here. Rear-wheel drive models, you're going to have up to 310 miles of range, so over 300 miles of range here on this vehicle. And then if you get the all-wheel drive option, you're going to get up to 274 miles of range. Max speed on the rear-wheel drive model is that same 115 miles per hour. And then on the all-wheel drive model, you can take it all the way up to 117 miles per hour. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is there if you need it. 0 to 60 times, very quick here. On the rear-wheel drive model, you're at 7.2 seconds, 0 to 60 time. And then on the all-wheel drive model with that upgraded power, another electric motor, you're getting 5.1 seconds, 0 to 60 time. And then braking performance on both the GT line and on this Wind trim level is the same as that light trim level, 147.6 feet for braking from 60 down to 0 again. Fast charging on this one. Let's go over the charge times actually. So they are the same here for the GT line and on the Wind trim level. 200 volt, 240 volt level 2 charging. You can do that in 7 hours and 10 minutes. So again, if you come home at nighttime, you plug your EV6 in, you can then have a full battery when you wake up in the morning there, because 7 hours and 10 minutes, unless you go to bed at 12, you get home at 12 and you got to go back to work at 6. That's only the really time there that you're not gonna have a full battery. But as long as you plug it in as soon as you get home and then and unplug it when you get up in the morning, you should be fine, get a full charge. If you do need to stop at one of the DC fast chargings, you're on vacation, you're traveling, you're going to work, you need some extra charge, you can stop at a DC fast charger and get up to 200 and around 210 miles of range, same thing as the light there. With a 400 volt, 210 miles of range, you're going to be in 73 minutes here on this model. And then with the 800 volt DC fast charging, you can get around 210 miles of range in 18 minutes again here on this trim level, the Wind and the GT line. As well there. So a lot of range. Kia is not going to recommend you doing the DC fast charger all the time. That is not a long-term stable thing, because when you put that much power into a battery pack, you're going to eventually start killing those battery cells. What I would recommend, don't use the DC fast charging all the time. Plug it in with a level 2 charger. That will save you a lot of expenses long term on this battery pack with this vehicle there. If you continue to do the DC fast charging, it's going to add some cost to the vehicle, because you're going to start overpowering those batteries. The batteries are they're cells of batteries there. They're not going to last forever if you're blowing that much energy through the vehicle at all times. So do the level 2 charger. DC fast charging is really only going to be used if you need to on the way somewheres, or if you got to stop on the way home from work or whatever you need to do. Just don't make it a continuous thing. Try to use the level 2 charger as much as you possibly can there. Now let's go on down to this first edition trim level. The GT line and the Wind edition, the powertrains are basically all the same there. And then on this first edition, there's only one powertrain driveline option here. You only get the all-wheel drive option. They add the dual motors here. So all those same power numbers that were the all-wheel drive on the GT line and the Win, they're all the same here. 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. 77.4 kilowatt hour battery capacity. You have 274 miles of range on the all-wheel drive, 117 max speed in miles per hour, and the 55.1 0 to 60 time in this vehicle. Braking performance again is 147.6 feet, and with level 2 charging at 240 volt, which is the most sustainable and the best one for the battery pack. 7 hours and 10 minutes. Plug it in when you get home. Take it out for work the next morning. And if you do need to use the DC fast charging, again, you can get up to around 210 miles of range with 18 minutes of charging on the fast charger there. Let's talk about the tow capacity here on this vehicle. So, yes, EV, you can tow actually with this vehicle, and you can actually tow a decent chunk of weight there actually. The only trim level that you cannot tow with is the light trim level, that base trim level with the low battery capacity, the low horsepower, low torque numbers. You cannot trailer or tow with that vehicle. On the Win GT line and First Editions, you can tow. It's up to 2,300 pounds with a trailer brake. So 2,300 pounds you can tow there. It will lower, obviously, your range there, but you can tow with this vehicle, and it does give you that ability if you need to tow something around or doing like that there. Just expect your battery ranges to go down a little bit because it's pulling along more weight there. And then talking about weight, let's talk about the interesting stats here on the battery weight and the gross weight of this vehicle here. On the Light Edition, which is that smaller battery pack, that battery is, let's go back to my notes here, it's a 58 kilowatt hour battery. That battery weighs 816 pounds, and the whole vehicle, the gross weight of the vehicle, you can put it up to 5,004 pounds of gross weight. Now, on that Win GT line and First Editions, the battery pack is that 77.4, it's good to have notes, 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. And that battery pack weighs a good chunk more, about 200 pounds, 1,052 pounds is the battery weight. And if you get the rear-wheel drive models of that Win GT line and First Edition, it's going to be 5,335 pounds on the gross weight. And then you can, if you get the all-wheel drive, it adds about 221 pounds there. 5,556 pounds of gross weight. Last thing to talk about here on the powertrain is obviously the warranty. We just talked about it with the DC fast charging. You obviously don't want to continue to charge on the DC fast charging because it kills the battery cells. But let's talk about the battery warranty here from Kia. Kia gives you that same industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. You also get 5 years or 60,000 miles of limited basic warranty there on the vehicle. So you have tons of coverage here on the vehicle. This vehicle is going to last you a long time. You're going to put a lot of miles on it, and you're going to have a lot of fun with how sporty it feels, how good it looks, and how many compliments you're going to get with this vehicle. EV6 is going to be a standout for Kia there. The next video we're going to start, I'm going to put that video up in a few days, but this has been the engine specs and powertrain specs here on the EV6. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions on the vehicles or on the videos, please put it down in the comment section below as well. And I do sell vehicles. If I haven't made that obvious there, I run a Honda and a Kia dealership. Can't talk. Honda and a Kia dealership, and I have a ton of certified and non-certified premium vehicles. So if you're in the market, please give me a shout. I love to earn your business. My number here at the dealership, actually, it's easier to reach me by email. Email address is paul.phillips7@me.com. Again, that's paul.phillips7@me.com. And if you haven't already done so, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out so much. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, and that's the next milestone in my YouTube channel journey. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next EV6 video. See you guys later.